You're now listening to the smooth sounds of life after debt. I'm your host, the Marcus Garrett. Let's get started with this week's episode. And this is the drop. Jeremy is the founder of Personal Finance Club, where you learn to invest and everything else about money that we should have learned in school, but didn't. Welcome back to the show, Jeremy.
Thank you, Marcus. I know, back. It's the second time being here.
Yeah, we were just talking about that. We did it in person, and now, not because of the pandemic, we're back on the internet.
Nice.
Such is the way of the world. For the listening audience, you joined me before to teach people how to build wealth with index fund. You can check your show notes right now, folks. There'll be a direct link. And today, Jeremy's back with a new course, How to Money Like a Millionaire. Tell the people a little bit about the new offer.
Yeah, well, the first course is just about building wealth with index funds. It's all focused on investing, but there's a whole other gamut of personal finance topics like tracking your net worth and saving and budgeting and frugality and taxes and insurance and banking and estate planning. And, you know, I think as adults, we kind of have figured out a lot of this stuff. But I just really want a comprehensive way to lay it out, you know, best practices, what I personally do as a millionaire. And I think it's all these little things that you can kind of tweak to simplify and optimize the financial foundation of your life to help you build wealth.
So I'm going to assume, perhaps I shouldn't, someone recommended I shouldn't, but I'm assuming most of the listening audience is not millionaires. So is this course only for millionaires or who is it for?
No, it's for people who are future millionaires, you know, and current millionaires, I guess. If you're currently a millionaire, though, like you're probably doing fine, hopefully. But yeah, it's for people, you know, when I say how to money like a millionaire, like, you know, it's kind of like me saying, hey, this is what I do. This is why I do it, you know, based on like my experience as a personal finance creator and influencer and just entrepreneur over the last 20 years. And you know, I think this should be required high school course kind of stuff, but also I think if you're 30 and you don't fully understand taxes or estate planning or insurance or any of these topics, I think it's a great way to kind of have a resource to strengthen all that foundation.
So I'm going to jump into the Life After Debt segment. We can take a deep dive on some of the segments that you've already highlighted from the course. The award-winning Life After Debt segment is where my guest and I share motivational money stories. You've already hit some of these. I'll go ahead and run through them one more time. And if you're watching through Movie Magic on YouTube, it'll be right there on your screen. This course sections are tracking your net worth, tracking your credit score, debt, credit cards, frugality, budgeting, banking, insurance, taxes, and estate planning, and I'm sure much, much more. Pretty comprehensive stuff there. I want to start with tracking your net worth. Why is tracking your net worth important?
In my opinion, your net worth is your number one most important financial metric. And I think for whatever reason, we're all obsessed with our credit scores in the US. I think because we've all gone to school and we've just been given grades our whole lives and think that we need to seek a better grade. But, you know, a credit score is just a tool used by the bank to maximize the bank's profits by figuring out who's good to lend money to and who's not. But what your money is, your real money score that counts, is your net worth. And what that is everything you own, all the stuff you have, all your cash, all your bank accounts, all your investments, minus everything you owe, all your debt, all your, you know, your mortgage, your car loan, your student loans. And that one number kind of tells you where you are in your financial life. And so some people could be, you know, driving BMWs and making it rain in the club, and they might have negative $50,000 net worth because they owe tons of money and they have very little assets. And if you're in that situation, that means you're underwater and you're struggling to you have to work every single day of your life just to survive. Whereas if your net worth is a positive couple million, then you're basically financially independent and you never necessarily need to work again if you spend frugally. And so seeing that number, knowing what it is and knowing how to move it in the right direction is kind of the first step to improving your financial situation. You can quit, or you can take time off, or you can start your own company. You can, and the way that works is basically by having assets, a net worth high enough that when invested will kick off growth and income to cover your living expenses until you're likely to die. You know, no one really knows the future. And so, you know, maybe in 5 years, there's going to be some sort of digital apocalypse where all money disappears and we're all going to be bartering again with chickens, and all of us financially independent people will be in the same boat as everyone else. Maybe that's the future. Who knows? No one knows, because no one can see the future. But generally, as long as like the economy as we understand it is still moving forward, you'll be able to do so if you're financially independent.
I think that, or I'm going to make it a timely question. So right now, I think especially, actually, it's interesting. I think when we talked Bitcoin, I guess it's still all the rage, but it was more the rage then. I hear nobody talking about it right now. But the question I was building up to was like inflation. So we're seeing 8, 9, 10% inflation. How do you temper the immediate panic, which I think some people have, might be even dismissive of this conversation? Or what would you say to today's crowd?
You know, no one likes inflation. It's not nice to know that your money is going to be worth less in a year or whatever. But I think in general, individuals who are trying to build wealth are far too concerned with the happenings of the macroeconomic world. You know, 9% inflation means a $10 sandwich a year ago is $10.90 today. You know, I'm being a little bit like flippant because, of course, like housing and gas and some things have become more expensive. But you can't control inflation. You know, you can worry about it if you want, but it's not going to help anything. And so what you can control is you can control your income. That's why you need to be investing, and you grow in your income. And so worrying about, you know, why would you worry about if we're in a recession? I don't know. What are you going to do about it? If we're in a recession, then what? You're going to start like hoarding potatoes or something? You know, and recession is like when unemployment goes from like 5% to 8% or whatever it is. You know, obviously when you have GDP decline, which is something some people should be worried about even less. Like, do you even know what the GDP is, or like even how many digits are in it? You know, so my point is people don't worry about this stuff because it's like in the news, and like the 24-hour news networks just need to like be pumping fear to get clicks or whatever. But in terms of your life, go work, pick up extra shifts, grow your career, start the side hustle, stop abusive spending, and invest the difference. And you're going to blow through recessions and inflation. And the people who are doing those things are much less concerned about this. If you're one of those people that's spending every dollar to your name and have a net worth of negative $50,000, then maybe you're even more stressed about this, because if you lose your job because of a recession, you're really in big trouble. Whereas if you're living below your means and investing, you'll be able to weather the storm.
One of the core sections that I wanted to talk about, and I think we'll have a tie in here, I just don't want to push through if it's not relevant to this conversation, was insurance. Okay, good. So one, I think it's actually, I know it's a conversation that doesn't happen very often. So what does this course go over in insurance, and what should we be thinking about?
Insurance is this word that is so scary because it like just evokes these emotions of you didn't do your homework, you don't have enough, you don't understand, you're not doing it right. And, you know, the course breaks down, and I'll tell you right now, just like what it is, have to make money or they would not exist. You know, not only do they have to like pay their rents and their high rises and pay all their salaries and make their profit margins, they have to make that profit to exist. And so if I'm paying insurance on my TV, I know that the insurance company is going to pay out less than they take in. And so why would I sign up for a game where I'm guaranteed to lose money on average unless I really have to? And you only have to in a couple situations. One is like health insurance, because health, you know, 66% of bankruptcies or something are related to health causes. And so with health insurance, if you get cancer or get hit by a bus or something, it is financially devastating. You know, the health insurance costs in the US are just going to be millions of dollars, and you'll be ruined. And that's why you have health insurance. And so it sucks, you know, it gets political, like whatever you feel about the different health insurance options we have, but you pay a few $100 a month, hopefully get through your job, whatever, you have health insurance. Another one is car insurance. If you crash into someone's car that, you know, and hurt them, it could be hundreds of thousands of dollars financially ruining. But, you know, insurance on TVs, don't need it. And then, you know, we talk about life insurance, which you maybe need. So for example, if you're single and have no kids and no one relies on you to eat, you don't need life insurance, because you dying is not a financial problem. It's very sad. And we will all like mourn you at your funeral, but there's no one who's going to starve. You know, it's not a financial problem. And so people, you know, we hear so much about life insurance being pushed these days from, like, in my opinion, predatory insurance salesmen who are working on a commission. And so if I died and I did have kids, they would just get all my money, and, you know, life insurance wouldn't be involved. And so why would I be padding up insurance companies' profits for no reason. And so it just breaks down simply what it is, kind of breaks down each areas, and the ones you definitely should need, the ones you definitely shouldn't get, and then the maybes depending on your situation.
You spoke about term life insurance. I think the other one is whole. I hear this conversation all the time. Do you want to speak a little bit about why you selected term or recommend term?
Oh, I would love to, because so term life insurance is a very simple product. For a certain number of years, you pay a monthly fee, and the insurance company looks up these actuarial tables that basically say, for your age, what's the percent chance someone of your age is going to die, and then looks up that number of years, does the math, and says, okay, over the next 20 years, there's like a 0.2% chance that you're going to die, because young people just don't die very often. That's just how humanity works. And then they charge you $50 a month or something, and then if you die, you get $1 million, and that's how it works. The other type of life insurance can be classified as permanent life insurance, anything that doesn't have this year on it, but it's also called whole life insurance, cash value life insurance, indexed universal life insurance, variable universal life insurance, MPI. There's like a million names to this, and they keep changing the name because it's just like a new scam every time. And basically, instead of paying $50 a month, you pay like $500 a month, and they claim that you get insurance no matter what until you find, which they kind of do. But you could invest without running it through an insurance company. And so and honestly, I've never met someone in my entire life who has a permanent life insurance policy who wasn't sold it. Nobody buys these things. They're just sold with these like predatory sales pitches. And so if you're in the sound of my voice and you either own it or are considering it because someone is currently selling it to you, like, this is one dude who does not earn commission from anything either way, who says, avoid permanent life insurance. Buy term if you need it. Otherwise, don't have life insurance. And if you currently have a permanent life insurance policy, what do people always ask what I do? And generally, my answer is you don't throw good money against bad. Like, don't keep throwing another $500 a month at this thing. Maybe you can cash out of it and get some of the money you put into it. Like, spoiler alert, you're not going to even get what you put into it. You know, it's sick. They pitch this as like some massive wealth building thing. And then when people look at it 10 years later, they say, oh, I've put, $60,000 into it, and now I can get out $30,000. Like, minus 50% 10 years in is not a good return. It's a horrific return. And so, yeah, avoid the permanent life insurance. In my opinion, just one dude who knows what he's talking about, hopefully.
I'm going to, not on insurance, play devil's advocate, because I agree with everything that you said. So y'all can hash that out in the comments, and I'm sure some of you will. I'm sure some of you are marketing.
There'll be some insurance salesmen
exactly,
who want my throat.
But I am going to talk about the stock market, because I actually, not only do I hear this all the time, I think I've quite literally heard it this month. So the stock market's down, and even if it's not down right now, wait 15 minutes, listen to me again, it'll probably be down. At some point, it'll be down. This will still be a relevant conversation. So for the person who's like, well, the stock market is down right now. I know you said it earlier, but I would actually like you to repeat it. What is your advice for that individual who's watching us, whether we're in recession or I think we actually just entered a bear market?
So, yeah, what you said is, it's not if the stock market's going to go down. It will. Companies in the stock market, you can buy them all at once in one simple package called an index fund. When you buy this, all the companies of the world are growing and profiting, innovating, and funneling that value back to you via your index fund. And over time, you will realize that. And it's not something, people think, oh, it can't keep going up. Yeah, it can. It's like an odometer. It's just a collection place for all the profits and the growth of the companies, as they will continue to grow in profit, as they have to, as long as they exist. Just like insurance companies grow in profit, other companies do too. And that comes back to the index fund. However, since anyone can buy and sell this whenever they want, in addition to it being this collection bucket of the growth and profits of the world's companies, it's also a short-term speculation game. And so speculators, these are people who are trying to get rich quick, not people who are building wealth. They're going to buy and trade on a day or minute by minute basis. And that's where we see this fluctuation. But those fluctuations are short-term volatility. Underneath that fluctuation is a constant march upwards. And so one of my favorite analogies is, the stock market isn't a yo-yo going up and down. It's a yo-yo while you're walking up a set of stairs. And so we feel the yo-yo because it's like these little dramatic short-term swings, but the long-term march up the stairs is always happening. And so right now, year to date, it's like late 2022. The market's down like 20% this year or whatever, because a podcast to say it. But if you are a young investor, the solution is stay the course. We don't know when these little variations are going to happen, when the ups and downs are going to happen, but we do know over long periods of time, it goes up and up and up, averaging 10% per year over the last 100 plus years. And so you stay the course, you buy, and if the market goes down, you keep buying more and you never sell. Warren Buffett says his favorite holding period is forever. You never sell. And you say, how do I get my money back? You know when you get your money back is once you've built up enough wealth where you never need to work again, then you can just live off the profits of it. You can just take the dividends out and live on that, or sell a little tiny percent per year and live off that. And so the idea is just acquire until you're so wealthy. Then that's when you sell a little bit and then you're financially independent.
I love it. I love it. And I think this is a good time to also point out to people, and it was my fault I dropped the term bear market. So bear market, bull market, those are 20% corrections. You mentioned it in the stock market. Actually, I think it's technically 10%. And
bear market is 20, a correction to 10. Yeah.
Okay. And a recession is 2/4 of gross domestic product GDP shrink. So I say that because we toss these scary terms around, but they're just technical definitions that are usually mathematically based. So I just want I've actually seen people use these words, but I don't even think they know what they mean. So I just kind of wanted to have that little breakdown there.
No, I love that. I mean, I love keeping it simple, and that's it. It's that simple. I mean, and it doesn't really matter to you, right? What matters is you personally in your life, reducing your expenses, increasing your income, investing the rest.
Millionaires are made in recessions. So we're moving towards a wrap here. At least from my side, one more topic from your course, and then we'll tell where they can get the course, and all the information within was estate planning. I talked about estate planning 101. Shout out to random listener on Instagram who says I need to talk about estate planning. I already talked about estate planning, and y'all can find that in your show notes. That's Ife Abekwe on the show. And we talked about estate planning 101. There's going to be a direct link. If you're on YouTube, I'll drop it in your description, and it's probably on the screen right now. What don't we know about estate planning, and how can it harm us?
I'd say the number one misconception about estate planning is that it's for super wealthy people to, or for anyone to like avoid tax and figure out some tricky ways to pass their money to their heirs. But my one favorite fun fact that almost nobody knows about the tax code is that there is an estate tax exemption. It's a certain amount of money under which you never have to pay estate tax. So you can give this amount of money to your beneficiaries, your heirs, your children, whoever, and up until that dollar amount, the estate tax is 0%. And so, Marcus, I'm going to put you on the spot. And it's okay if you don't know, because nobody knows. Do you know ballpark what the estate tax exemption is? How much money can you leave to your heirs without paying any tax?
I'm going to say $250,000.
That's a great guess. And if you have more than $12 million, congratulations. And I don't care about your problem. Like, the government can tax you until you're blue in the face, as far as I care. $12 million is plenty for your lovely children to start their lives and be their own self-sustaining members of society. And so what estate planning is, it's just about organization, so that when you pass, which we all will, sadly, your family can pick up the pieces. They know where your accounts are. They know your passwords. They know how to get to your money. They know what accounts you have. They know where the title to your car is. And so we kind of break down, and I call it a dead box. So like I maintain a dead box. It's in Google Drive, it's digital, and it's got like a letter to my family. It's got my trust and will, which helps them avoid probate court, so I have to go to court to get at my money. It breaks down what those are and how to get them. And then it's like a list of my accounts. It shows who I want the money to go to. Basically like the instruction manual for like this dismantling my financial life, rather than making it a nightmare for your family when you do pass on.
Yeah, I love that. I thought it was good. I'm an auditor, so people say I'm dark. So I'll try to find a lighter way to move through the wrap here. And this is the wrap. If you enjoyed today's episode, we want to hear from you. You can leave me a voicemail, especially that listener. I know you're on Instagram, and I'll find you afterwards. That sounded like really ominous, but I'm literally trying to thank this person. But we have hit estate planning again. So I do listen to y'all. And if I don't listen to you, you can leave me a voicemail, drop a comment on YouTube, or a 5-star review. And you can do all of that when you visit themarcusgarrett.com/show. Money Like a Millionaire is right there in your show notes. Get started today. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thanks, Marcus.